good afternoon. You are now live with us on Impromptu. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we now have Linda Lankin, who is the first one here. Hello, Linda. We are here and we're here to do a wonderful interview with Yolanda and Oliver Blue. And they have some exciting things going on. And we're here just to talk about it today and to kick it off. And because I'm excited about it with them. So we're celebrating that time with them. And my husband, you know who
Hello.
that is, Clifton.
Good to see everybody.
Clifton.
Good to know you with us.
Yeah, so we're waiting for them just a few minutes. They'll be in just a moment while you guys are here. And hope your day's been going well, Linda. We've been having some pretty good experiences on this side.
We have.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We really have.
Yeah, you had some good things happening this morning, and on yesterday for me, I had some good insights to come to me. Uh, One of the things that I began to understand was that um, the ego can wear spirituality. And when it wears spirituality, the one that's the person that ego identity is functioning through will believe that they're doing something very spiritual, very noble, not realizing that it is still an ego hiding behind that good. And it hides behind the Bible, it hides behind, or it veils itself with the Bible, with sacred texts, all kinds of sacred texts. And so I began to get some insight on that. So I might be talking about that sometime in our later sessions. But right now, we're going to welcome the Blues in and see if they're ready.
Yeah.
Let's see if they're ready. Let's see if they're ready.
There we go.
Well, hello, you guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh,
Hey. Were you
hey
lost
Sawyers.
in thought? Were
How
you
you
lost
doing?
in thought, Oliver?
Well, I was lost in this phone. This phone is taking a lot of time out of my life.
Yes, I
It's
know.
a love thing.
Well, how are the
Oh,
Sawyers today?
we're
We're doing
good. We're
fine.
great. We're great. We're great. And for those who come in later, they will find out that we are here just for a special interview with the Blues today. And it's an exciting time because they've got some exciting things getting ready to happen. Hello, Laverne. I'm glad you're here, sweetheart. And so I'm going to start off, and I know that we could chat all day long, but I wanted to start off with just giving some type of an intro of what we know about Oliver and Yolanda.
Ooh.
And there's a whole lot we
You
don't know.
you're not gonna share the juicy stuff, are you?
No, not
Oh,
too
share
not
the
too
juice.
juicy, not too
Y'all
juicy.
listen,
Share
y'all
the juice.
y'all know some of the juicy stuff about it.
Yeah, not too juicy then. No, but I we met Oliver and Yolanda because her sisters used to attend our church, and that's way back in the day. And they would come and frequently visit with us, and then we kind of didn't see them for a while, and didn't realize their journey, and they didn't really realize our journey. All of us were journeying out of religion
Mm-hmm.
and into more inclusivity. So we then came back together. Oliver and Yolanda came to the ministry, came to the church one Sunday, and they were just there up till now, helping us out. And of course, I've shared this, and we've shared this before that they were so instrumental in helping us when the pandemic hit. I call it there's a BP 2020 BP, which is before pandemic, and 2020 PP, which is post pandemic. So they hit us right during that time, in the middle of that. And when the pandemic hit, of course, they were both very instrumental in helping us to get ourselves together to just do these live streams, and it was just amazing. We really did learn trial and error, but they Oliver and Yolanda were just magnificent. So what I know about them is they started out as Christians, and then they are course students, Course in Miracles students and teachers. They are now certified life coaches, and we'll talk about more of that later. And even ministers. And I know Yolanda is now a caregiver for her father.
Have been
Almost,
have been
yeah.
since 2007.
Yes, yes, and that I know that Oliver is a golf fanatic, and they both love to dance and have fun, and they both love to connect with people, and they're the most supportive people that I know on the face of the planet. So we love them dearly and are glad that they're in our lives and that God has brought them into our experience. But today is a day for them. This is all about them, to talk about their transition into these magnificent things that they're beginning to do. So I know one other thing, that is that Oliver was employed during the pandemic, and there was a transition that took place. Can you tell us more about that, Oliver?
Absolutely. I spent a majority of my life working for one corporation in the transportation industry, actually 39 years. And it was during the middle of the pandemic, after being home, working from home for about 3 months, that it just hit me. It is time to leave that field, that occupation, that career, and to get busy with the visions and dreams that were in my heart. So I retired in the middle of a damn panic.
How did that make you feel, Yolanda? I mean, what was your experience with all of that going on?
So since Oliver and I have been married, we're coming up on 31 years, August
That'll
5th.
be actually next month, right?
Yeah, August 5th.
Gonna be a party next month.
It's a party every day. We celebrate every day. But truly, I had noticed that Oliver had changed. His vibration was different. And one of the things that I used to point out to we have 3 children. One of the things I used to point out to them is that he never complained about going to work. He did not miss work. He didn't use his sick days. He had, well, before we moved to where we live now, he had been sent home by one of his bosses because he was so ill, and he never should have gone in. And then that happened once on this side. So twice he had been sent home. But he was dedicated to the job. He really appreciated his customers and serviced them very well. But I noticed that he had discontent, and so I knew that it was time for him to make that transition about 5 years before he actually did that.
Yes.
So once he retired, well, he got to work from home, so he was here disrupting my days greatly.
All right,
but
that's right.
it was okay.
Yeah, I've known that I've discovered rather that dissatisfaction is usually a sign that there's a need for change.
Yes.
And so yeah, I can
Yeah,
understand what you're saying.
Yeah, one of the principles we teach in our coaching experience is that discontent is life speaking to you.
Just as your longings
Just,
are.
just like likewise, longings speak to us. When we long for something else, or long for more, or long for something out of our life, and we also are discontent with where we are currently. So, life had been speaking to me for about 5 years. She's right, and she saw the change in my attitude. And
Not his commitment to
yes, not my commitment to work, but
to
just my
his
attitude.
clients or even to the job. I always talk to him about, okay, you need to get better at working during your working hours, because he worked during working hours and then he came home and he was on the
Yeah.
computer and
He brought it
answering
home.
emails. And I mean, if we go on vacation, I mean, he just he never had time away.
Yeah. You're a
Well,
So
she
company
had she
man.
she had to put up with that for 30 years. So she kind of got used to it. But
So you worked 30 years during that and then made this
no,
transition
I worked 39 years.
39
39
for the
years
same
Yes,
company.
for the same
for the
company.
same company, and then you began to feel like you needed to make this shift. And
Yeah, yeah. Well, it started really back in really actually started back in 1988 when I had this high level spiritual encounter where I came face to face with myself
mm-hmm,
and the reality that um, there was a breath that was breathing me and a creator that had created me that
wow,
had given me purpose, and I had no idea up until that point what my purpose in life was. So it started in '88, and that with that encounter, and from that point on, I've been on a journey of self-discovery and trying to understand my purpose for being here. And
well, you know your brand is truly OB, is that correct?
Truly OB is our
Truly
brand,
OB.
and Truly, the acronym stands for the real you loves you,
Oh wow, oh wow.
and that was birthed out of it just came to me as a download
Yeah,
when we were beginning to start the business, and it's really about the real you. Our entire effort and our life purpose now is to help others to find their real true identity, because we believe that we found ours, and
yeah,
the day that we discovered that is the day that we discovered that our life had really deep meaning and good purpose, and that's available for everyone. And we live in this world now where you see people that are really struggling with the way the world is,
oh wow,
and that's
yeah,
because
yeah.
they're looking outside in the world trying to find themselves, and
Yes,
it's not
yes,
out there.
yes,
We
yes.
discovered ourselves, uh, that we discovered that our true self is right here in our presence all the time. And it was here all the time. We just were not aware of it.
And of course, that came about as a result of all the things that we were doing. As you stated earlier, both of us, we grew up in Christian churches, and I'm a middle child, and I've always asked a lot of questions, and there were just things that I just could not get reconciled
Mm-hmm.
with who um, the scriptures were saying that God, the Creator is,
Yeah.
and what I was hearing, in
What
the
your
very,
experience was,
yeah,
yeah.
and what I was hearing in the churches that I was going in, and but then I became aware that it was my responsibility, no one else's, not a preacher, not a Sunday school teacher, no one else. It was my responsibility to read those scriptures and to get to know the Creator for myself, for me to have my
Yes,
own personal
yes.
relationship with Him.
Yes,
And
yes.
so as I did that, um, I really became conflicted because I knew the Creator, the creation of all things, to be loving, accepting,
Mm-hmm.
patient, gentle, kind, um, merciful.
Yeah.
Um, but that wasn't what I kept hearing.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
couldn't reconcile it
yeah,
with what you were feeling in your heart.
yeah.
And you know the reasoning, I think your reasoning and coming to the place of thinking for yourself. And we had a good friend tell us this, and it kind of shook me when she said it. She said Jesus didn't have a Jesus. He had to find his connection to the Father for himself.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So for Oliver and I, um, we were very involved in a number of ministries, helping. And one of the things that kept coming back to us was that people had an, a wrong concept of who God is. And because of that, they have a wrong concept about who they are.
Yes,
And so
yes.
we kept saying, well, if we spent more time learning and teaching people about the love of God and the oneness that we have with him, that we're not separated from him, that he loves us. He calls us the apple of his eye.
or her,
True. True.
He and the only reason that I say that
or
he
she.
the only reason I say the he is because that's just how that's just conditioning.
Yes, it
That's
is.
conditioning.
It is. It
Because it
is.
was, I was at one point, I was Oliver was the youth pastor and I had the children's ministry. And so when the little children would say, well, what does God look like? And I would say, he looks like you. And so
Yes.
this could be for both the little guys or the little girls. I mean,
Yeah.
it didn't matter.
Yeah.
So I don't get hung up in the pronouns. I mean, that's not one of my issues. However, people want to identify with that person, that's up to them. I just know this, that none of us breathes our own self. We are not what keeps all of this
In
in
place.
place. We are not what keep. I have a science background. We're not what keeps the universe and keeps our planet in its own orbit, instead of having us to swing out there in the galaxies and collide with all kinds of stuff. There is something
Yes.
else.
Yes.
Yes.
And I now understand that that something else is not something out there. That something else is in me. I am connected. Miles Monroe used to say that the uh, purpose of, that a thing knows its purpose,
Purpose.
because the
Yes.
purpose of a thing is in,
Within itself.
within
It's
itself.
within it. Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
so we brought on this awareness that everything is shared. There's a love that's shared. There's an energy that is shared. There's an awareness that is shared. Everything is shared from the one source, and
Yes, it is.
that everything is connected. When we brought that awareness to our understanding, everything in our life changed.
Yes.
The
Yes.
way
Well,
we
now
see.
I
Yeah.
know you. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you
No,
off.
go ahead.
But I know you guys are now, Truly OB is a transformational coaching service, is it not?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
correct. We founded the our personal development company, which is called Truly OB, and within the company, our main services is we provide personal, group, and organizational coaching
Right. Right.
services. And
Yeah.
we founded that back in 2017 after I became certified as a coach. And then in 2018, Yolanda went through the same certification that
I
I
went through
did.
the official certification because I went through the process with Oliver. He was so excited about what was going on. He
So,
couldn't.
what was that experience like? Tell us
Wow.
that.
Well,
Just a little bit.
that experience was like taking 5 trips across the country. We went to Los Angeles, California. Well, we went to San Diego first in 2016. We went to San Diego, and that's where I finally came to grips with the fact that um, I was being called to take all of my life experience and share it in the form of coaching.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I embraced that. That was in 2016. I went out to Los Angeles, California, to a Lisa Nichols event,
Oh, I
and
love
Yolanda went
her.
with us. Yes.
I
So
love Lisa Nichols.
Lisa's
Yeah.
one of our early mentors, and then
She's a fireball.
She is a
absolutely,
fireball. So I
but
went out there to support Oliver. And then, of course, the way that the program is set up, everyone there's engagement and involvement, and so people kept asking me, well, what are you here for? And I was like, well, I'm here to support my husband, blah blah blah. And they were like, yeah, but what do you want to do? And I had no hesitation, because I've always known what I wanted to do. I knew I was supposed to have written a book.
Yeah.
Over 30 years ago, I was supposed to have written a book, and the name of that book was supposed to have been More Alike Than Different. I knew that. I knew that back then.
Wow.
But then, with
Wow.
all the things that happen, all the pulls that happen on your life, then I didn't write the book. I should have written the book. But anyway, so we did that in 2016.
2017, I got certified through Brave Thinking Institute, which is one of the most world-renowned transformational personal development companies in the world. With Mary Morrissey is the head of that organization, and she's been in that business for 50 years, and she's one of the most renowned
Well,
personal
give us
development coaches.
give us just a brief description of what it was like going through
Oh,
that
it was like flying all the way to California 5 times, and
And what did you do during the sessions?
we
What would
engaged in some of the most intense training with people from all over the world. That was
yeah.
generally 500
It was a little more than 500
500
people at a time,
participants that got certified,
but
and
from every
from
country.
every country. So we made that flight over there 5 times,
But the
and
content itself was a serious affirmation for all the things that we've been doing. We really started personal development way back
from
in the
day one.
90s. And you were using Stephen Covey. I don't know if you remember Stephen Covey, but he
Yes, I
did
remember.
the
Seven
Seven
Habits.
Habits of Highly
Yes.
Effective People.
People, yeah.
And so we actually we taught that in
Yeah.
several of the classes that we were doing.
So
Um,
how did the training change you? Or did it change you?
The training basically affirmed us.
yeah.
It
Okay.
affirmed that we were on the right track, that everything that had happened in our life up until that point was preparing us for this season in our life, for our expression to be in the world to help others as coaches.
So it
And
sounds like it aligned you guys
it'll yes,
for what you already were destined for.
yes.
So what we were hoping for was an organized, repeatable process, and because we didn't really hear a lot of information that we were not aware of,
Okay.
because we're prolific readers and we study all kinds of good information. We practice best habits, and so we see who's doing stuff and doing it well, and we glean what we can glean from those persons. But in the meantime, we each had we had experience with listening to that inner voice and being connected with source. We already had that, and that happened even before we got married. I remember we were reading this one book, and it was like the two of us. We were reading the book together. It was part of our meditation,
Yeah.
and we would be thinking the same things. I
Yeah.
mean, so the certification was just checks. It was just
Okay.
lots and lots of checks.
Okay.
We had done counseling and ministry before, so we were already
So it
helping
wasn't
people in
new.
counseling.
Yeah.
It wasn't that it was anything
No,
new, but
it brought the structure that
yeah,
we needed.
but it
We,
certainly gave
yes.
us
Yes.
certainly
Yes.
gave us that structured, repeatable, process that we were looking for.
So now let me ask you this question, and I thought about this yesterday. If you would go back, turn the clock back to 18 years old, what would you tell your 18-year-old person or self?
Wow. I would tell my 18-year-old self to um, to investigate life.
Okay.
Investigate life from a perspective of who am I?
Okay.
And get on a journey of discovering you. The sooner you find out who you really are, is the sooner you'll stop suffering.
That's so true. That is so
You'll
true.
save yourself 1,000 years of suffering when you really come to know the real you.
I know what I would tell my 18-year-old self. I would tell her, stop being afraid to just be yourself.
Absolutely. Well, that's fine. That's discovering yourself. And for me, I come from a past of fear and internal fear,
Yeah.
and it was just part of my conditioning in the communities I came up through, and the teachings I received, and but then once I graduated from high school and stepped out of Scotland County, which I spent 18 years, and saw
Sand hills.
this big world out there. I was in college, and found myself out among all these different people from all places that had all
Yeah.
kind of different values and ideas. It was time to get with it, and
Yeah.
all I knew was what I had experienced.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I fumbled and bumbled, but the whole time, now looking back on it, the whole time I can see where I was really being guided to certain
Yes.
people, to certain
Yes.
information,
Yes.
uh,
Even though you were resisting it.
even though I was in a resisting. But it's amazing when you look back over your life and you see, oh my God,
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
was being carried all the time, and
Yeah, we
and I
talk
see it
about that
now.
all the yeah, we talk
I
about that all the
Yeah,
time.
I mean,
Mhm.
even when I hit the bottom, the rock at the bottom,
Mhm.
then I found out that God was the rock at the bottom.
So we know that we know we've heard most of our lives that opposites attract.
Yeah.
So my 18-year-old self had already been telling myself that all things were possible. I could do anything that I wanted. I was such a prolific reader. I was not bound to the little area that I grew up in. I had traveled the world in my
In
readings,
books.
in books. I was fascinated with other cultures, interested in other people, and I had prolific dreams. I didn't understand that, but I had prolific, detailed dreams.
I wonder why you're incarnated in such a small, secluded spot when you obviously in your previous lifetimes must have been a world traveler.
Well, it's so
Yeah.
funny because when we were coming up, we would say, where were you supposed to have been born at? And I kept saying I was to be born in a palace. I knew that this was just too small for me, but I loved nature. Absolutely fascinated by all of that, and so my 18-year-old self went into college knowing that that was just going to be the tool that I was going to use that would actually get me out to do what I really wanted to do, which was to help people. And so, unlike Oliver with the fear, I had decided early on, because of reading, that I was not going to be afraid. There was nothing for me to be afraid of. And that if there was anything that I had hesitancy for, I was taking that on head on.
Isn't it
So
amazing that reading books that are not necessarily relative to your actual environment actually take you
Yes.
into a higher awareness or
Yes.
an
absolutely.
expanded awareness,
Yes.
and you begin to feel like you don't fit in your own family.
Absolutely.
Well,
It's strange you say that because what I see and what I've observed a lot is people stop learning once they finish high
Yes.
school, or
Yes.
if they go into college, or after they finish college. It's like they put the books away, they put the expansion away, and they just try to find happiness in the activities of the world. And
Yeah.
people just stop growing and learning. And that's one of the things that we see, especially the last 5 years working with people, that it is in their uh, resistance to continue to grow is where the suffering
Yes.
is.
Yes.
We're designed to grow. We're designed to
Yes.
expand. I mean,
Yes.
life is about growing and
Mhm.
expanding. And when you stop doing it, it's like it start working against you.
Yes, it does. It really does. So, in all of this we're saying now, and all of this we've come to, you've got a new project coming, and that's what this whole session is really about. This new project that you got. Tell me now. This is called Truly Live. Truly
Yes.
Live. Now, where did that term come from?
Where did truly live come from?
Yeah.
Oh, well, truly, again, it, like I say, the core of what we do is about truly the real you loves you. And so,
and helping people to
and helping
discover
people.
who it is that they
Right.
really are and what it is that they really love.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's always been our desire to expand this message universally. And what better way to do that than utilize the tools of the web and the clouds and all
Yeah.
the social
Yeah.
media uh,
Yeah.
tools. And so this is and basically this is our communication arm of our coaching business.
So it
So
is an actual live broadcast, is
it's
it
going to
not?
be, yes, it's a live broadcast where you're going to be watching Yolanda and I. Yes, live.
This is
Woohoo!
okay. So this is so bizarre because I love all things literature, English, the whole nine yards. And so while I was a science major, because I love that so much, I actually picked it up as a minor in college because I had done a lot of that in high school. But I did not want to go into, I didn't mind journalism, but I didn't want to be in front of a camera. So as a result, like, so I don't have, I'm not on social media. I don't have any social media accounts. And I don't particularly care for, speaking into a microphone or being in front of a camera. But
But you do
all of,
so well that you're so good at it.
but only because Oliver is constantly throwing me there. He loves a microphone and he loves the camera.
She says she's gonna go anywhere that I go. So, and all of you out there in social media world, you are very familiar with Yolanda because she dominates my post. And
And I'm always surprised when people say, I saw you on Facebook. And I'm like, I'm not on Facebook. You know what I mean? So it took me a while before my niece would say, oh, I saw you. The pictures were so good. I'm like, I was like, I don't
yeah,
have pictures. I'm not on Facebook.
yeah,
Well,
But
it's kind of
this
the
guy,
same. It's kind of the same with us. I'm more aggressive in getting out here and doing this, and this probably wouldn't be happening if it was left to him. It just so I'm the one trying to get my feet wet to learn how to do podcasts, and he's just kind of, I'm coming along with you.
we know it's with him. It's like just tell me what time to show up
Tell
and
me,
I'll
yeah,
be
what
there.
time to show up? Yeah.
but I like doing content. I like creating content.
Yes.
I like to, our friends are like, oh, we know when Oliver posted something, we know when you did, because I'm the one I'm trying to make sure that it's grammatically correct, that it reads well. Oliver just puts it out there, and I'm like, ooh,
Yeah. But see, all of everything that we do is laid upon the foundation of number one, the truth as we know it and have experienced.
Mhm. Mhm.
And Yolanda,
understanding that we knew. And see, this is what my 18-year-old self knew. I knew that what I knew was only what I knew and what I had experienced, but I knew that there was so much more out there,
so much
and I
more.
wanted to avail myself to
Yeah.
every experience,
Yeah.
that was going to help me to become not just the best version of me, but most importantly, that I fulfill that purpose for which I had come into the world to do.
Yes.
I didn't want to waste my life.
Yeah.
Yes.
That had always been my
Yeah.
motivation.
So
Yes.
again, everything that we do is built on the truth as we know it. We can simply say that is that God is the Father of us all, and that we're all brothers and sisters, and we're all connected. There is no disconnect. There is no
Yes.
separation. That's the truth as we know it.
So now
And
you're
and
truly
and 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 then go ahead.
your truly live broadcast, is it going to strictly be spiritual? What's going to be
Oh,
the format of that?
yeah. Well, no, it's going to be full spectrum. What we call we use the word
Y'all going to
full
show us
spectrum.
how to have
Yeah,
fun?
because this yeah show you how to have fun.
Yeah.
Because the second element of our foundation is our life experience,
Yes.
which has been full spectrum. I mean, we've raised, we have a marriage, we've had kids, we raised them, they've gone to college, they're out on their own. We've worked and with other people in collaboration and helping them with their visions, fulfilling their dreams and visions.
Hmm.
And now we've made a decision to focus on what's been inside of us that's trying to emerge. And so this Truly Live will be full spectrum in the sense that we will focus on all spectrums of life. In our coaching business, there are six focus areas that we work with. One being relationships,
Time and money freedom.
health and well-being,
We will do a spiritual awareness component,
Okay.
vocation and career.
and then service, that which we're going to be giving back. What Truly Live is really going to be mostly about is the same thing that our coaching business is about, which is based on principles. These are um, laws that govern, that actually move, things that move in the universe, and it doesn't matter who we are or where we are. It doesn't matter what our conditionings are. So it's principle centered and based, and it's repeatable, meaning that you can use it in absolutely every aspect of your life.
Yes. Yeah.
So there is a spiritual aspect to it, but for me, I want to know, how does it apply to my life, and how
Right.
is it going to help me to make my, to be a better person or a more productive person, and to, contribute to society.
Yes,
So
Yeah,
for
yes,
me, I want to know how, how does it apply? Because if I don't know how it applies, to me, it's just information.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
or
By all
entertainment.
means,
Yeah.
yes.
It's just
Well,
entertainment if it's not applied. Yes.
yeah, and well, we want a little bit of entertainment. You
Oh, of
guys can
course.
give us a
We could
little bit.
listen now. We're going to be dancing, singing, and
Because I
all the
know
fun
you
stuff.
guys are
That you
not,
know us.
you're
Yeah,
not stodgy by any
we're not
means.
stoic. No, I mean, when you go to a when there's a party and Yolanda and Oliver is there, we have the best time.
Yeah.
Oh, I know,
We
I
believe
know.
that we ought to be the happiest people in the world.
I'm
I
So
going
agree.
to have a good time wherever I am. It
so
doesn't it doesn't even matter if I don't like what we're doing. I purposed years ago, and this is, before I even went to college, I decided that I was just going to have the best time. I was going to get involved, give myself to the process, and just have the best time for whatever.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
it doesn't matter what the event is, there's going to be people there. And if there are people there, there's the opportunity to make connections and to just have
yes,
all kinds of extra
yeah.
experiences.
That's what life is all about. It is about extension.
Yes. Now
Uh,
I wanna do something, and I know you guys have another appointment, so I don't want to take you anywhere over the time. But give our listeners a chance to maybe ask you a couple of questions, if that's okay with you.
oh, absolutely.
So I want you guys who are listening, if you have something you'd like to say to Yolanda and Oliver, feel free to type it in, and I'll put it on the screen, and they can address it. Okay, and just want you guys to feel free to interact with him and interact with us. So we're just excited about Truly Live, just really excited about it.
Well, there's been a
Really,
lot of work
we've got
in
a
the
few
background.
people. We've got a few people. I think Eldred Rogers. I know you're working with him in Utopian Alliance. They're coming into the
Yes.
session and saying how they adore you guys. We love and adore you. And so I know that, and they're calling you First Lady, I think.
I tell you what, I have been called a lot of things. I just don't answer to everything. That's all. First lady. Okay.
But they're saying also it sounds very interesting what you guys are planning to do, and it's going to be beneficial, I think, to everyone.
Oh
And
yeah.
how long will they your sessions on the those live streams actually last?
Well, we know that people's attention span is limited, so we will be very limiting in our times.
See, now I would never say that people's attention spans are limited. See, that's that conditioning thing.
That's
That's
a
that conditioning
conditioning
thing.
statement, and she's
So
right. But 30 to 45 minutes max is what we're gonna do. We're
Yeah,
not gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
on.
And
We're
will
not.
it be?
which
Yeah.
means I know this guy, which means 30 minutes to an hour. See, I know this guy. So,
But
Right.
you're
I
gonna.
know what he
But you're gonna
says.
put me on the
Right.
clock, right?
I am. I'm
She's
gonna
gonna put me on the clock.
And
Well,
and will it be every week, every month? Well, how will it be?
right now it's going to be for the month of August. It's going to be every week, but this this platform is continuing to evolve, and it could come to it could look different after 4 weeks. So we're just open to the evolution of it.
There are some things that we already know that we want to
Yeah.
do, and we actually already have some commitments. Like, um, so hopefully we're going to be able to share some of our passions.
Okay.
For us, uh, so we have found that every person that's walking the face of the earth, that we all actually have the same walk, and that is to learn to love, and we call it loving all conditionally, because what we currently do is we love with condition.
Yes. Yes,
And
we
then
do.
to learn to unforgive unconditionally, meaning that there should be nothing that we are unwilling
Let go.
to let go. But that's not what we do. And then the other
Yes.
thing is to learn to be, not just do, but to be non-judgmental. And so all of us have that to do. And actually, if each of us were to be doing our own work, we could not spend any time trying to clear
No.
anybody else up,
No.
because
Right.
there's so much
Yes.
work to do within ourselves.
Yes. I
So
don't
we
have
hope that we'll get
time.
that we're going to be sharing some of our passions, and so we know
Yes.
that we're going to do a piece on forgiveness. We are going to do a piece on the importance of
Relationships.
long term
Oh,
friendships.
cool. That'll be good.
We have guests that have already agreed to come on.
Yeah, we're going to have, she mentioned guests. We will have guests from time to time that will come in and share their experience, their mastery.
We've got someone that's going to be doing tax information, helping people to set up their businesses, their small businesses correctly.
Nonprofits.
We've
Yeah.
got someone that has already agreed to come in to do trademark and
Nonprofit.
nonprofit
Yes,
information.
yes, yes.
We've got someone that's going to come in to do alternative health and wellness. So we've got people that have already
Yeah.
committed to
Well, it
come on
sounds like it's going
to
to be
share.
a,
It's going to be full
whole
spectrum.
gamut.
Yeah, we'll be, and
Yes.
our goal is to help other people to promote what they're doing in their lives.
Well, it's going to be a blast. I am sure of it. I am positive it's going to be great. And we are just absolutely thrilled that you guys have taken this step to do this. Now, I'm going to be sure to watch. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, this again,
It's always great. It's always great to see familiar faces. So
yes,
we're looking forward to connecting with a lot of
yeah,
people. Um, in our personal lives, we have relations with folks from all over,
all over
and
the
all
world.
different kinds of cultures.
Yeah,
And we think that it just makes for a much, well, we know a soup or a stew is much better when you have a lot of great components to
Absolutely.
it.
yeah,
So
Absolutely.
yeah, and we're, again, our message is oneness. We want to promote oneness and inclusivity, and
Yes.
so there is no exclusion
No,
to
that's
the
true.
expression of true love and true life, and that's what we're promoting, and that
You know,
comes, yeah,
I want. He's been my eye candy for all this whole time we're sitting
I
here.
know he's been so quiet.
Yeah, he's my eye candy during impromptu, and so I want him to, if you don't mind, just kind of give them a blessing prayer. Let's do a blessing prayer. Can we do that?
Well, there is purpose and destiny as I see it, and then I speak it in first person. That I am talking to myself, talking back to myself through you guys. The wonder of it all is the two being one, and you are setting a pace to help people in many genres of life. And you came here to do exactly what you're doing and saying what you had to say. In minute detail, you set this up. And cannot anything come from it but blessings and success. You guys are going to show people how to get in the machine and work it, and show them how they made it to be a machine for them to work. And they won't have to guess at it anymore, because what you're going to do is show them that they are the workings of God in the business, in their business, and their entrepreneurship is going to expand because you guys are expanding at the same time. The wisdom of
Yeah, yeah. Are you gonna pop?
yeah. The wisdom the wisdom of the freedom that you have been given starting today is spearheading in your life, both of your lives, an amazing path of the miraculous and insight into people's lives, and it's going to fulfill you all the way through to the very end of your physical days. You know where close to finishing, you will have to pass it on or take it with you. But you are here now, and you're going to make good of this. I'm affirming, praying. I can't help but say it to you in first person because
Yes, yes.
I know who you are, and I know
Yes.
the people that are listening. and the compassion that you guys are with this. Oh, I want to tell you this. Your father, Yolanda, is the seed that is pulling up out of you the mother lode of the gold that was set inside of you by your father to give back to your father the gift of time and grace of love. I'll tell you like I tell everybody else. I thank you for coming to earth
Yeah.
and
Yes.
practice
Yes.
being someone else, finding out that you're no one else but God in the physical realm. I don't want to say too much because I don't say it enough.
Well, that was good. That was great. That's just what we wanted.
Pastor, do you mind? Do you mind if I tell you? I love when he speaks like that, and I can affirm what you're saying. So you don't know this, but where I grew up as a little girl was called Gold Hill.
Oh my
Wow.
You
gracious!
don't even know. Yeah. So
Wow.
I love it when you do that because, and see, you have no idea about those things, but you do know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want to pass. I want to pass on to you guys the removal of all ignorance of identities that you're going to run into, and for all the people that you speak to will wake up and begin to see the clarity
Yes.
of what God did in your life is also taking place in theirs.
And so,
At the very
yes,
moment
yes.
that the very moment that they come online with you, this will take place.
Yes, 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 yes.
I'm affirming you beyond your senses, and I am vibrational frequencing you into that dimension that you always been in and you came here for,
Yeah,
and that anyone
yeah.
that tune into you will share the.
Wow, wow. That's good. That's good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
I don't say anything because I know what's going to happen when I do, but
But it's good.
Yes.
Yes.
We celebrate your lives. We celebrate
Thank
what
you.
you're about to do. What you're going to even do more than this. And so we just wanted to make sure that everyone knew. And I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to just put it out there. And we're not a big platform, but at least those that follow us will hear it. And I wanted them to also see. I put on there how you can contact Yolanda and Oliver, and that all of it's through their website. You have more?
yeah, you guys are going to show people how to forgive themselves
Yes.
for allowing the insecurities of how to handle business be removed and bring these people into the forefront of the pioneering expectancy that's going to break generational doubt off of them that was put on them through the generations of their families. But you're going to teach them and show them how in action, how God in simplicity can move them forward and don't have to change one thing about them to be successful.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
That's what you're going to do, and that's what you're doing now.
Yes.
I will not allow you to function any other way than you, through your infinite identity that is now bringing to the forefront people that are ready to come online to do whatever they need to do to pay the expenses. If it is none at all, if it is, there will be unlimited supply for them to go as far as they want to. But he said, tell you this, you're going to take those who feel like they're limited to the unlimitedness
Wow.
of their potential.
That's good.
I like that.
That's one of our subjects.
Yes.
Actually, you did two of our subjects. Here is feedback, and then the creating the circulation as abundance.
Yes.
So I mean, so you're all over our topics. You're all over our
Well,
topics.
he's speaking from that timeless place within him that he's taught us, and it is indeed the place that we share from the things that we bring forth. There'll be expressions that you guys can utilize in your life, but they're coming from a timeless place.
Yes, yes, yes.
Everybody that listens to your He is I am insight will realize from the fragrance that's going to come through your statements and actions. You know, you guys can come on here and just sit there and do nothing, and the presence would emanate itself. I'm not trying to talk out the side of your neck to
You're
you.
not
I'm,
complimenting
no,
them.
no,
You're
I'm
telling
not.
them the
No,
truth.
I'm not trying to
Yes.
pat you on the back. I know who it is that's listening to you and to himself in you, and I know who it is that's talking to himself through you to other people online right now. But the Father is here, and He's there, and He's all over this site right now. I see you, here it is. I see you with a 80-inch screen that is holographically projecting everybody in the universe into your presence. And hey, look, I'm not fattening you up for the kill. I'm fattening you up for the living.
Well, Oliver looked at a 90-inch screen, so see, I'm
You all,
telling you,
you
you're
all,
all over it.
you all in my bloomers.
I don't know.
And
You better get out of there. I don't know.
and you pastors know we have such a passion for seeing people to
You do.
we're
To get
to
free.
not see people struggling,
Yeah.
because we understand that the struggle is actually self inflicted.
Yes.
And it's just, if people learn a small skill set that they could actually start to live, to be, to do, to give, to have that which, they truly desire. So part of our thing is to help people come to the awareness that we don't have to wait
Yes,
for
yes,
anything or any time.
yes.
Time can be collapsed, um, and we can be who we are created to be immediately. We can do that
Yes,
right now.
yes. Right now. You don't have
We
to
can,
delay it
yeah,
at all.
Yeah.
we can
And
do it
the
right now.
and the
And
world.
so what
Yeah.
happens is we're going to share a few techniques that that we can
Practices.
use, practices that people can use, that can help us to stay, to get back to center, to stay in that place, because life happens to all of us.
It does. Yes.
Let me share something with you that's real important right now. We're coming into a place where people, first thing I'm going to say is real estate. Your real estate will be more defined and vision to you online. Now, here's what I'm incubating this thing into a whole lot, because there are a lot of people looking for homes and can find them, but they don't know where to look. Now, this is going to be a package for you, for both of you. They can't find them, but you are going to have a vision. I won't say third eye, but you're going to have insight. God's going to allow you guys to have insight into the universe to know how to go. I see you in the heavenly realm with pens and a map. And you're going to take these pens and map out through your audience where they can go to get the loans, get the approval, get the grant, and show them how and where to place their feet to make it work for them.
Wow. Wow.
That's a word I give
Wow.
you fresh. And you didn't ask for this
Right.
on earth, but you brought it with you, and you're giving it out, and you're going to see more of it as you go.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
It's gonna
so
be-
Pastor, I have to let you know. Here you go again. I have to let you know. So we know a young couple. We've known them. They went to school with our kids that were looking for a house. Had a few instances where the house was bought out underneath them because, right now everybody's buying houses. And they wanted to move in the area. And guess what? I said, why don't we think out of the box? And what if I could tell you that I know someone who's selling a house that you might be interested in the area that you wanted? You guys know what happened? I chose my neighbors, and the mother sent me a text last night that said they're moving forward on that house. This,
Why,
this just happened.
while you have your paper in front of you, write the word New York.
You notice she didn't hesitate.
And hold it, hold. Write it on different sheets of paper and make it as big as you can. And wherever you stop, that will be the clarity of the degree that New York, the word New York City, or New York State, is going to have something to do with you and your travels. And you're reaching people in these areas.
Thank you.
And I hear the word condos. I hear the word condos. And he said to tell you that the rates for you will be infinitely set to accommodate those. And he said to tell you this, you're going to be able to cause people to find the finances that they used to say it's no way. But you are going to experience with them, through them, what Jesus meant when he said he's the way.
Yes.
You'll be the way for them.
Yes.
So now, caution yourself and take a deep breath, because this is something really new and has been waiting for this moment to speak it into your life.
Wow.
Well, we take the
receive all of
download.
that.
We take the download. We
Well,
take
look,
the download.
I hate to be the bad guy, but we got to end this because I know they have
Yeah.
another appointment
Yeah,
after
you do.
this. But it
Yeah,
has been
we do. You know what?
tremendous.
I like to share one thing
Okay.
that for the audience that's
Yes,
listening,
sir.
and that is the fact that we have decided to have membership into Truly Live. And so through the platform of Patreon, you can now be a subscriber and member of the Truly Live show.
Yes.
And if you look up on the screen there, you can do that very easily by going to www.patreon.com/trulylive and subscribe to our show. And you say, well, why should I subscribe to your show? Well, because by being a subscriber and a member, you're going to get some of the juicy stuff. You're going to get benefits that you're going to get exclusive content, and
There's a principle behind it, because what we don't buy into, we don't give ourselves to.
That's true.
We have spent our lives giving a lot of stuff free, and the people who actually buy in, and it's not always monetary. Those are the people that get the greatest benefit.
yes,
But when we just give, that doesn't give the people the opportunity, because giving and receiving are the same thing. So, the inhale and the exhale both are important. So, because if you don't do them both, then you're going to have an issue.
yes,
We'll get into that
Yes.
on the program too.
because we're going to be creating content
Yeah.
that's beneficial to people. And so by you being a subscriber, you actually will be getting involved with the process of us creating content that will be made available to everyone.
So, and of course, Oliver jumped the gun and he's sharing this before we were supposed to share. But see, you guys will come to see that this is what happens all the
That's
time.
great.
Yeah. I'm just going to spank that bottom later on. That's all.
Well, we need an aggressive one in the group, and I'm the aggressive one.
Not.
Oliver, Yolanda, one of the children is talking to you about an automobile. They're talking to something about an automobile, and they're talking something about an automobile. They're talking something about a car.
My daughter,
Switch over to a car, to a truck, or something like that. SUV, whatever it is.
my daughter,
Hold on.
my daughter.
Is he finished?
Are you
Because
finished?
I want to let him hear.
I just have to impress the image because I see it unrolling like a tape.
My
I need to tell you uh, this thing of credit and favor is just with her or with them. That's all I can say about that.
Well, my daughter came called me last week
He couldn't even wait to tell you.
and say, "Dad, I want to upgrade my Jeep, and
Oh,
I don't want to go to a dealership. So I want you to go out and here's what I want. I want you to go out and find it for me." And so that's what I've been.
And of course, Daddy does everything that
Yeah,
that they
Yes.
say.
yeah,
So
So
of
yes,
course.
yes. So
so
yes,
you're all in our
you're all
gravy,
in my
Pastor.
business, man.
You're all in our gravy.
But
We
I
love
love
it.
it.
Yes, we love it. We love it. Love
Well,
that about you.
listen. Well, listen. So now I'm hoping that other people will avail themselves of Patreon, and then you can
Yes.
find them on Twitter. You can find them on Facebook and YouTube, and they have their own website.
In the
So
first
you
shows.
guys can make
Yes.
sure that you contact them.
Yeah. The most important.
That's what he was supposed to have been telling
The
you is
most
when we're
important.
going to be
The
on.
most important detail is that we're going to launch the show next Friday at 7 o'clock p.m.
Yes, yes,
Well,
right.
thank
And
you
I
for
almost
letting me
forgot
know.
that. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me know.
But that's the launch. It may not be every Friday. I mean, the particular day that's, again, this is evolving and we're just leaving space for creativity. But we're going to launch next Friday at 7
That's on July the
and
30th
July the 30th.
at
Yes.
7.
Yes. And it will be to your advantage.
It's going to be streamed live.
It'll be streamed live on our Facebook account for our business. It's at
Truly
Truly
OB.
OB.
Mm-hmm.
So go to at Truly OB
Mm-hmm.
and like our page so that you will get notification when we are going live.
Yes. Yes.
So as we move forward, and one of the benefits of being a patron or being a subscriber is that you will always be notified well in advance when we're going online.
Right.
And the great thing about that is you're going to get Yolanda and I unfiltered in a private back room.
That's what
We're,
it
go-
is.
we're going to turn on. We're going to reveal all the goods.
So the
Yeah.
launch, are we only on one platform on that night?
Yes, when we launch, we're going to actually be launching on our Truly OB Facebook page, as well as our Twitter page, which is at Truly OB, and we'll also be live on our YouTube channel, which is Truly OB. So there's three avenues in which you can
Three platforms that we'll be
platforms
on.
Yes.
that
That's
you
the
can
information he was supposed to have been sharing, not Patreon. But anyway,
Thank you,
keep
Yolanda,
get
for
keep.
telling us.
That's why I got you here. That's why you're here.
That's the question I was supposed to be asking.
Yeah. So let us end by saying thank you, Tony and Clifton Sawyer. You guys are definitely among our mentors. You have been so involved in our life for the last 3 years.
Yeah, yeah.
You've opened us up like a can of fragrance with your transparency, with your authenticity, with your spiritual insights. And it is your impact, and I can speak for myself, that has been instrumental in helping me to be comfortable in my own skin
yes, that's
and
very
to,
true.
and to be comfortable with who I am. It
Yes.
was through your example, not so much through your words, but through your example that I realized it was a reality and I could do it and I can be it.
You
And I
can
want to
do
thank
it.
you
Yes, sir.
guys
Yes,
here
sir.
on the World Wide Web. I want to tell the whole world that I love you.
Love you
And if
too.
you also, if you're listening, if you, these mystics, so that's what they are spiritual mystics, Christian mystics, they can be viewed twice a week on their own platform, Cornerstone Life Center.
Yeah.
They're on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and they're also on Tuesday afternoon at 7 p.m. And
That's Central Time,
that's Eastern Time.
Eastern Time. I'm not going
And
Central Time, Eastern
believe
Time.
She's
believe me,
traveling again.
yes, and believe me, you would want these loving expressions speaking in your life.
Thank you, Oliver.
And so we return the compliment.
Thank you
Yes.
so much.
I
Thank
see
you,
an
God.
angel. I see an angel reached under the cover at night. I don't know what it is going with your feet, but I see him pouring oil on your skin, on your feet. And as you said something about fragrance, there's a fragrance of smell of pure honeysuckle flowers, something like that. And he's pointed on your feet, and you're walking in it. And you're walking in it because I see it's like your circulation in your feet is been adjusted, Brother Oliver. Your feet, the skin and the flesh, something going on in your soul, your feet, your toenails or whatever it is in there. But I see him doing that to your feet because the blood got to get back in there so you can feel what you're doing and move in the steps with softness. But it's something about your skin and it's something in your feet that he's working on to heal, and he's pouring oil on it like he did with Jesus, and they fixing your feet.
I tell you what,
All in the Kool-Aid. That's all I
all
got
in
to
my
say. It's
Kool-Aid,
all in
brother.
the Kool-Aid. It's all in the Kool-Aid.
Okay,
Well,
I'm through now. I
Well,
quit.
All
he said
right.
he quit. He said he's through now.
Oh
He's
my
quit.
God, that's enough. For that's enough. I need 2 more lifetimes to fulfill all of this. And
I'm getting it all done this time.
all right.
Okay, you can do two more. I'm doing it all this time.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you all so
Thank you
much for
Okay.
so
allowing
much.
us
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We
to
love
be
you
here.
so
With
much.
gratitude, you guys.
We'll see you guys when you come on Friday. Next
Yes.
Friday.
Be there.
Okay,
Bye bye.
bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.